Picard, Episode 4, Absolute Candor. And I'm not talking City in a Bottle. So this episode, again, was different than the first three. It was following along the same vein, I thought, whereas the first three were like different types of shows with the same characters. This episode feels like another different type of show. It's almost like a romance episode, although that was kind of thrown in the middle, just for a small part. Picard, this part kind of bugged me a little bit. Is we don't know how far away this planet is, or at least I don't remember, from Earth. It has to be far enough away so that he hasn't been able to visit it in 14 years, because he hasn't been back in 14 years. But it's close enough to where they didn't have that much time to talk to each other on the ship, even in his quarters. And his quarters look like... I don't know if they can't afford a lot of sets, or if they're just doing it on purpose to make him feel at home. But his quarters are in the holodeck, or a holodeck version of his vineyard house back home. So it's kind of odd. I don't know, it just feels kind of odd because he's there in his vineyard house and everyone's coming in to talk to him, and then they're on the ship and they're there. And it's like they didn't have, like, even if it was a 2-hour journey, they didn't talk for 2 hours. Even if it was a day journey, you'd think if it was a day journey, he'd have found time in 14 years to go. I mean, I would estimate 2 weeks in a warp-capable ship. But even then, I think he would have found time to go back. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was... maybe no one would help him because of the way he quit Starfleet. I don't know. But that just bugged me a little bit. It's kind of jarring. They get there, and he comes down, and he's got this white suit on with his hat, and he's talking to everybody. There's kind of a... it's almost like a... I can get what they're trying to do. They're making a point. They have the sign that says Romulans only. So, it doesn't say no humans allowed. It's in English, which is odd that it's not in Romulan, on a Romulan planet. But it's in English. So I don't know the other... I know there's lots of races in the Federation. There's Talarian, Vulcan. Of course, they have their own language, and they're split off from Romulans. Tellarites, Andorians. Bunches. And they, none of these members of the Federation, it's not in their language. It's just in, maybe that's Federation Standard English? Maybe. I haven't studied the languages of the Federation enough to know their disparate, what there's, I guess, almost starships. I know there was an all-Vulcan starship that was lost, the Intrepid. I wonder if all their computer software was all in Vulcan. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. So I just find it fascinating and kind of interesting. So, he gets to the planet. He's there. He goes to visit the tribe of the female warriors. They're raising a boy that he helped train. When he's training the boy with fencing in the flashback scene, it's kind of... You can tell I was hoping, again, for more of the Lion in Winter type of story, but it's... His fencing is not fantastic, but, I give him that because he's Sir Patrick Stewart, and he's an older fella. He's doing his best. But once the kid's grown up, he can definitely fight. Well, he's fast. I'll put it that way. I don't know if he can fight, but he's fast. I mean, that wasn't much of a fight that we saw, but it ended quickly. Somebody went head over heels over him. So I liked that part of the episode. Oh, I loved the bird of prey that showed up. It was fantastic. The old original series bird of prey. The weapons they looked kind of like green phasers. They didn't show the plasma weapon that normally comes with that ship, which I thought was interesting. Maybe that's just, maybe they just had the weapons updated. They didn't say. So that was fascinating. And at the end, we get to see there's a surprise visitor that shows up. But again, this episode is more in the middle of the episode. There's like a romantic part, like a romance, just in the middle. It was kind of weird. They just kind of threw it in there, but again, it seems to me like every episode is just a different type of story with the same actors. The first episode is all action, and then they did the CSI episode, and then they did the drama in space, and now it's a romance. So I don't know what's next. Murder mystery. I mean, I don't know. Back to action. Maybe they'll start over. And previews to next episode with 7 of 9 going everywhere with their guns blazing. Maybe it's like the casino episode where betting goes wild. I don't know. I enjoy the show. I like it. The thing I thought interesting about Absolute Candor, and what I thought they could have done, is that these Romulans, this specific sect of Romulans, believes absolute honesty about your emotions and stuff. And they could have gone a long way to explain the split that happened between the Vulcans and the Romulans thousands of years ago. The Vulcans are all about, they have emotions, absolutely. They just don't admit them. They keep them reserved and in check. And it makes me wonder if this is the type of sect that caused the split with the Romulans and Romulans, Vulcans. Was it philosophy based? Where they we're just going to be open about our emotions and tell everything, and then the other sect is like, no, we are just going to tamp down everything we have, so that we have to have the Ponfar every 7 years. No. And then maybe that's where the split happened. And they could have done that in the show, and it would have been, to me, fascinating, because I find that fascinating. That's not a story that's really been gone into much about Star Trek. Something else that I found fascinating was the Fenris. The Fenris guards they talked about, which is in Dragon Age, it was there's a tribe of elves that worship Fenris. And anyway, that's a different story. But it's almost like the way they're writing Romulans in the show are like space elves. I've always thought that anyway, because they're pointed ears and they live longer, and the Vulcans are more reserved, like types of elves, and these are Romulans are more like Drow, I guess. Oh man, crazy. So I thought that was fascinating. The philosophy they could have gone into, but they didn't. Something else surprised me. Still no Shakespeare. And again, I thought, to me, a big part of Picard was Shakespeare. There is a reference to Three Musketeers when he's fencing with the young boy to train him, and that was... but he has an actual book, which, I mean, maybe they can't trust their, iPad devices. I don't know. Maybe that's why. I do know books are rarer. Star Trek 2, they talk about that, having an actual book. When Spock gives Captain Kirk an actual book. Tale of Two Cities. So I thought this was fascinating. He gives the kid a book. The kid reads a lot of books. He's angry at not having seen him for 14 years and feels like he was abandoned. Which he kind of was. I care about you a lot, but I'm going to see you in the decade. Yeah. Well, of course, Romulans, a decade may not be as much to them. I don't know, because they do live longer. But they are open more about their emotions, at least on this planet. So he was pretty open about the feeling that he was abandoned. This sect that he's a part of, that they train warriors, only tie themselves to lost causes. So at the end, when this warrior, the male, ties himself into Picard's cause, obviously he feels like it's a lost cause. So, which I'm not quite sure still what the cause is. Like, go find that android girl. Why would you think that's not doable with former Captain Picard, former Admiral? Like, why? I'm not sure why he feels it's a lost cause, or that's not, to me, explained quite well enough. Maybe it'll be explained more. I don't know. Maybe he just really missed him, and it fits in line with his, But it also almost gives me the idea of maybe it's a mentality of, I know I could have to die, and I'm going to give myself. But Picard does get angry and yell at him for, I think, kind of a silly reason. But no more killing unless I say so. Or no more fighting unless I give you the word to fight. And then later, when he doesn't give him a word to fight, he just kind of looks at him and nods. Like, is that the word to fight? Does that mean it's okay to fight now? Like, I don't... It's like a trained attack dog, I guess. Even they have keywords. So anyway, that's what I thought. I liked the episode. I liked that there were parts of former Trek in it. I loved the bird of prey. Anytime seeing an original bird of prey flying around, I love it. Type of stuff I like. So I'll keep watching the show. I'll keep doing it. I will review every episode of the first season. Put it on here. And if you guys like the show, if you guys like this show, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And like I said, I'll do at least the first season. And I'm going to... I hear it's renewed for a second season. I guess we'll find out.